the Democratic Republic of Sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is a Wednesday morning. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and we are live from the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different, and it is Tag Hangover Day. As the franchise tags got doled out yesterday, there were, Cam Robinson gets the franchise tag from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So.
Yeah, the biggest hangover from tag day is Urban Meyer waking up this morning going, "What the fuck did I do? I hit the wrong button."
It's kind of a rocky start for the Urban Meyer regime.
If that's how he's going to run this team, he's going to run Trevor Lawrence right into the ground.
Yowza. On the other side of that, you got, I think the Green Bay Packers are my biggest surprise, not franchise tagging Aaron Jones.
It surprises me that surprises you.
Why?
Because he's a running back. And we know the Green Bay Packers could give a fuck less about Aaron Rodgers, and so eventually they're going to have me playing tight end.
Well, I mean, yeah. You know, I mean,
latest rumor with the Green Bay Packers, they're interested in Zach Ertz.
No way.
Which is 3 steps above me.
Is that legit news?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't make it up.
Wow.
I would love to know. I would love to know how much. No, I'm serious as hell.
God.
I would love to know how you plan on deploying Robert Tonyan, and who now I will call by his real name since he's clearly the best tight end on that roster. And Zach Ertz. That'd be fun. That'd be cool. That'd be like me and him in a foot race. One of these is markedly more agile than the other.
The franchise tag's getting handed out. Marcus Williams gets one from the New Orleans Saints.
He didn't mean to.
And okay, I guess. I mean, he didn't have a bad year this year.
No, I actually had him rated really highly. The thing I don't understand is New Orleans just going to print money? I feel like this is, what's that, the Ozarks, that show with Jason Bateman?
Yeah.
I feel like that's who's doing the books for the New Orleans Saints right now. They're just running the money through the dryer. Nobody gives a fuck. The money's made up and the cap don't matter.
Yeah, it is a very head-scratching move when you're $70 million over the gap.
No, they're down to 50.
They're down to 50?
They've gotten
excuse me.
Yeah, you got 7 days to save $50 million. Hell, let's spend another 11.
Yeah, why not? Just throw it onto the books.
I feel like this is how credit card debt happens. I've always wondered how people wind up $50,000, $60,000 in credit card debt. This is how.
No, this is.
I have a thing that they'll let me buy, and none of it matters. And then they get the interest bill and go, oh, shit.
This is really why they wanted Russell Wilson in New Orleans, because Russ can cook.
Yeah, he's going to have to, because they're shopping at the Go Grocery Outlet from here on out. There's one you can mark up.
There's nothing wrong with the grocery outlet. We already have a grocery store. There's nothing wrong with the grocery outlet.
We're already sponsored by a grocery store. I can talk shit about the others. We're sponsored by the best one. I can talk shit about the others.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there.
Low prices. Love the savings.
Angles-markets.com. What were you surprised by?
I actually did a promo and I threw him off.
Yeah, you did.
He went, holy shit, he did one of those things that,
Yeah.
Be like you telling a joke and throw me off.
Oh. What exactly
I'm on fire today.
Yeah. What was exactly surprising for you in the franchise tag?
The one that shocked me the most was Jonnu Smith. I am shocked as with the Colts getting better and the Titans' whole sensibility is teetering because you're hedging your bets on Ryan Tannehill.
Right.
Of which the only time he would be a no-doubt closer is if you were trying to pick up somebody from the bar. I do feel like he would be a tremendous wingman. Google what his wife looks like if you don't know what I'm talking about. That one shocked me. They really, really need Jonnu Smith. And I feel like now the tight end market's ridiculous. You've got several. The Bills are in on tight ends. I've heard they're going to make a big run at Hunter Henry. And Jonnu Smith's their fallback plan. That one surprised me. Mm-hmm. I mean, nothing surprised me more than Cam Robinson. I can't say that without laughing. Every time I say his name with the word franchise tag in it, I just laugh immediately.
Cam Robinson, the guy who, where did he rank last year? among left tackles.
For
in the
me
league.
or according to Pro Football Focus?
No, either one.
Because it would be much quicker if you use my ranking because the number of guys behind him is un poco.
Pro Football Focus ranking didn't like him either.
He was in the 20s for them.
Yeah.
I feel like Urban Meyer looked at his recruiting rankings when he tried to bring Cam Robinson to Ohio State and went, yeah, that guy. Oh, shit, we've seen 5 years of him be terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody told me that.
Yeah, he had like
That's unfortunate.
His Pro Football Focus rating was like 61.
Yeah, it wasn't
something
good.
like that. Not good at all. Hey, Stephen Towle, don't knock it till you try it, bud.
Rabbit feet, frog livers.
He says the grocery outlet has rabbit feet and frog livers in their meat section. I'll never go there again. Hey, meat's meat.
But not true. Not true at all.
A little bunny rabbit meat never hurt nobody.
Put the bunny back in the meat department.
I actually did that one time. I went to go grocery and I found they had whole rabbit in there, and I had to buy one just because. And I took it to my grandma, and she made rabbit stew out of it.
Who's shocked?
And
Show
it was
hands.
freaking awesome.
Anybody? Nobody? Okay, that's what I thought. You ever bought a whole squirrel
No, but I would. I've heard.
or a whole possum?
I've heard squirrel. You know, it's oh so tiny, and there ain't much meat upon it, but it's okay.
Thing you said on Tank's wedding night.
Oh, you are on fire this morning.
I'm madder, damn it.
Jesus.
You know what happens when Jeremy gets mad? I go scorched earth of everyone around me.
Bud Dupree not being franchise tagged by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like, one, that's a missed opportunity, but two, maybe it is time to move on. Because I don't see this team being as competitive anymore.
I think they're going to try to bring Bud Dupree back. I said this on our ESPN radio show yesterday. You're going to see a lot of deals like the Devonta David deal, where they go, oh, it's a 2-year deal, and that's what's reported, but it's actually 5 years with 3 voidable years on the backside. Mm-hmm. So he counts $3 million against the salary cap. Do you know what that means, boys and girls? That means one day he's not going to be playing football anymore, and he's going to be getting paid a lot of money.
Yep.
That's how that shit works.
Hey, he's an all-time great for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's give him the Bobby Bonilla deal. Let's just pay him $1 million
based on the
for
terms
20
I
years.
saw, it might be a Bobby Bonilla deal.
Let's just pay him $1 million for 20 years and be done with it. We can spread that cap out. Do that cap magic however you can. The gymnastics are fully underway.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, there are teams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now are doing things that make my brain hurt. Mm-hmm. Because, see, I get the terms of these deals. If I have to read more than 2 or 3 lines and I'm still going, oink. And the Devonta David deal, I finally just tapped out and went, yep, he's going to play for the Bucs.
Yep.
For spicy hot sports take. That's all I got.
Yeah. They're doing the right things. I had a problem. I was immediately disappointed yesterday when I heard that Chris Godwin got the franchise tag, because I was thinking there was no way that we were going to be able to shore up Shaq Barrett. But
they found a way.
Signing Chris Godwin to the franchise tag, and then having that cap gymnastics deal with Devonta David, it makes me more hopeful.
Well, I told you when the Godwin tag came down.
Mm-hmm.
What this tells me is, A, they did not want to pay a second-year tag number on Shaq Barrett.
Right.
B, they're way closer to a long-term deal with Shaq Barrett than they were with Chris Godwin,
mm-hmm.
which surprises me exactly 0. It didn't shock me in the least.
No.
What shocked me is that you found a way to bring back Devonta David. Now I'm looking at it going, hell, they'll probably find a way to wind up with Aaron Donald. And shit, they might have Julio Jones by the end of this.
Hats off to Jason Light and everybody. Hell, maybe Bruce Arians wasn't drunk, maybe because he was up there at the celebration going, "You're staying, you get a contract, and you get a contract, and you get a contract," and they're gonna find a way to get it done.
I got news for you. Every Buccaneer was drunk at that parade.
Uh-huh.
All of them, including Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians did that thing I do when I get drunk. I love you, and you, and fuck you, and I love you. And I'm here for it. Frankly, I like drunk Bruce Arians way better than I like sober Bruce Arians.
Who got the fuck you?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Ron, if it was anybody in the organization, who you think Bruce Arians would give the fuck you to?
Antonio Brown.
AB.
Antonio Brown was the one that I was thinking, but
That's how you tell AB you love him.
Nope. Can't do it.
What?
You know it was bad when I go, no.
Yep. Jeremy just stopped himself from doing something stupid. The Bucks doing their cap gymnastics is a sight to behold. I guess the next quarterback domino is going to be the Tom Brady extension.
The next quarterback domino is my quarterback domino.
Is Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold's the next one to fall. And I'm telling you, I'm seeing the writing on the wall. The Jeremy was right. I'm going to be playing Randy Travis on the ESPN Radio show. I told you so. Because you know what I heard the other day, or actually it was yesterday, that I heard for, I want to say it's Peter King. Well, what we could see is the Jets trade Sam Darnold to Carolina for 8 and they give up 34. That sounds super familiar.
Yeah.
That idea, I believe somebody said that about a week ago. I'm that guy.
Yeah. So now you're dreaming of Zach Wilson at 2 and Kyle Pitts at 8?
Giggity.
And that's how you see Jeremy's O-face.
And we went 6 to midnight. I'm glad there's a table between me and you.
Yes. Socially distant always.
I'm fine with it. Frankly, there's nothing that would make me happier. Now that Allen Robinson's not a thing. By the way, is there anybody angrier in America right now than Allen Robinson?
No.
You son of a bitch. You know his agent called and said, the Bears are tagging you, and he went, motherfucker.
Yep.
I can't get out of here. I can't get away from bad quarterbacks.
Well, you don't know that yet. Because the only shot they had to bring in Russell Wilson was to give him a weapon. Now it looks more attractive now, but that deal's not going to happen. That's the best thing. Yes, I agree. Somebody mentioned it in the comments. The best thing that happened yesterday, nobody talked about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
It was all about the franchise tag.
Yes. Not going to lie, that wasn't lost on us either. We did show prep yesterday and went, we don't have to talk about Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson or Dak Prescott.
No, we had to talk about Dak Prescott. Everything was dominated by Dak.
All right, let me rephrase that. Or is Dak Prescott going to get signed?
There you go.
Yes, you know what I learned yesterday?
What's
I
that?
learned how good it's going to feel the day they finally let Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And we never have to talk about that shit again. Because that's the only topic in the history of sports radio that's survived longer than will Dak Prescott get a long-term deal.
And the DH. It's all baseball
no, that's
things.
just stupid. We know baseball never do that. It makes too much sense.
It makes too much sense to have the universal designated hitter.
Yeah, it makes too much sense. So baseball goes, nope, we can't do it.
Yeah. Other franchise tags of the day yesterday, we had Brandon Scherf getting a second franchise tag in a row from the Washington football team. Marcus May from your Jets, we knew that was coming. It was officially made official that Taylor Moton got the franchise tag from the Carolina Panthers, so I will at least give them credit for that. I think that was the smart move there.
Oh, 100%.
You had to use that franchise tag to keep the best offensive lineman you've had in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ones that surprised me that nobody really talked about yesterday was Darrell Williams. I'm a little shocked that the Bills didn't use it on either him or Matt Milano. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a given. You're going to keep one of those two guys.
Yes.
What that tells me is they might be playing this fun game of in reverse. The Bills might be doing the exact same thing the Buccaneers just did, except in reverse. Front load the shit out of these deals because you still have Josh Allen on a you got him 2 more years on a pretty reasonable deal. Mm-hmm. Still rookie deal this year, option year next year. So you might see the Bills come through and go, we gave Darrell Williams 5 years and $70 million and 60 of it's paid now. We actually just cut him a check. Darrell, don't cash that until Monday. See the way my bank account's set up, like checking, savings, that's
it.
Yep.
Leonard Williams getting the franchise tag from the New York Giants.
He had to. I mean, the Giants can't afford to lose one of their 5 best players for nothing. Mm-hmm. We talked about them yesterday, and Brian, he thought I was going to crucify his team, and I didn't. I wasn't nice, but I didn't slaughter them.
It was okay.
He didn't walk away crying, which I fully expected.
Right. Have we missed any? No, I think we've touched on
Other than the ones we already knew.
Yeah, I think we've touched on all the ones that got franchise tags yesterday. So now the question is, how likely is it that guys that weren't franchise tagged but were eligible will be able to sign a deal before they hit the open market? Because Green Bay has already come out and said that they're hoping to sign a deal with Aaron Jones before the market opens.
Yep, and I'm hoping my car turns into a Maserati while we're sitting in this room. Because I got news for you. Aaron Jones ain't signing nothing until he finds out what the Dolphins are coming with.
Right.
And why would you?
Well, I've heard the rumor that they would be in for $9 a year.
The Dolphins?
The Dolphins.
I think that would be at 10. You're going to have to beat the franchise tag. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think the Aaron Jones deal will end up being 4 for $40. And I think it comes from the Miami Dolphins, and I have for months.
Yeah.
It just makes too much sense. That line's going to be ridiculous. They just got Isaiah Wilson for a bag of balls. I think they actually sent 6 kicking balls to the Tennessee Titans. And Tennessee went, good deal. It's fine. You take him, that's all we needed. We actually would have paid you to take him.
Now, you said yesterday that you thought Fat Jamal Williams is going to get a deal as a starter somewhere.
I said he could.
What are the chances that he ends up as the starter with the Green Bay Packers?
About 70%. If I was handicapping it right now, I'd say it's about 70%. I could very easily see a path that the starting running back of the Green Bay Packers is Jamal Williams, and he's backed up by A.J. Dillon. And it's a total running back by committee.
Yep.
And Ron just started laughing like,
because he saw the same thing that I saw in his head when you said that, was Aaron Rodgers sitting back going, fuck.
The Allen Robinson, he's going to go Allen Robinsoning. Shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, the same thing that he did during the draft last year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's nothing I want to see more in this NFL draft than Green Bay come and go in the first 2 days and there not be a receiver taken at all.
You want to see how contentious this thing can
I
get?
want to see Aaron Rodgers come on Pat McAfee show the week after
and
just go scorched earth.
Yeah.
Full on Jerry Maguire. Who's coming with me? I want that so bad.
Why?
Because I don't particularly like Green Bay. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers gets dinged a lot because he's only won 1 Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And then you look around and go, okay, his best receiver ever was Devonta Adams. Who's 2?
Donald Driver?
Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson.
Randall Cobb. Adam Black asked me, is the Darnold thing coming this week? If there is a Justin loving God, yes. Because I'm frankly tired. I'm tired of sitting around going, how are we going to fuck this up? There's so many things we can do right. And there's so few things we can do wrong. And I do feel like the Darnold, I'm very confident the Darnold thing's coming before the start of free agency. And I'll tell you why. If the Jets hang on too long, right now, Adam Darnold, good God, I've combined them in my head. It's Adam Gase and Sam Darnold have turned into one superhuman that I don't want to see in Jets attire ever again. Right now, the Jets have the most attractive quarterback on the market. And nobody, what about Russell Wilson? Yeah, you have to pay him $1 bajillion. Mm-hmm. What about Deshaun Watson? Same thing. Mm-hmm. Right now, you have the absolute best case scenario of a young quarterback that you have not paid yet, that you still get an extra year of the rookie deal, and you're not going to have to give up a fortune to get him. It's not going to be 3 1s. It's going to be a 1, which is what I've said nonstop for the last, month? 2 months? Mm-hmm. Darnold ends up getting traded, and it'll be for a 1. And I cannot wait, can't wait to see Zach Wilson throw to Kyle Pitts. Da-da-da. Maybe throw in Kenny Galladay, just for good measure.
Just for the hell of it?
Yeah. Yeah. The Jets have become a trust fund child whose trust just opened. What are we going to buy? Everything!
Yeah. I think Kenny Galladay probably is one of the biggest winners of the franchise tag deadline. Allen Robinson being in the loser's bracket.
Oh, that's poor bastard.
Yeah, because Allen Robinson's stuck again in Chicago. No, they're not getting Russell Wilson. No, it's not going to get better. He's going to end up being thrown to next year by Mitch Trubisky. The longer this goes, the more I'm going to worst case scenario for the Bears.
I've seen worst case scenario coming for the Bears for a long time. And you know what that makes me think? We're doing the Bears offseason preview. I was going to save this for this, or I was going to save this for that. It's making me think they're going to do something stupid.
Yeah.
Because the Russell Wilson thing's not happening. Let's call it what it is. They couldn't trade him until after June 1st anyway. The Bears are not waiting that long. So you're all in on that. Okay, cool. The logistics are mind-boggling. So what does that mean you do? You can't get a quarterback where you're picking. So what are you going to do? You're going to call the Jets and do something stupid.
And how stupid does that get?
I could see it being a 1 and a 3 for Darnold. I could see them getting into such a situation that they go best case scenario. If we don't do this, our best case scenario is we trade or we sign Mitch Trubisky for 3 years, 4 years, something like that.
Right.
And that is such an untenable idea that I could see them doing something stupid. Washington, I don't see, of all the teams that I've seen linked to this, they're the one team I don't see doing something desperate. Because they know the defense is good enough to win with Taylor Heineke. Mm-hmm. They're in a bad division. The Bears are not. The Bears are in a good division, and the Bears are in a division that clearly has a team better than them. And if they don't win this year, they all get fired. Mm-hmm. So, what do you do then? Hey, this is from some movie. Desperate men do desperate things. And I can see the Bears being that team.
That's crazy.
And I want it to happen.
Well, of course you do. Jeremy's doing that fun thing that he does in all these mock draft simulator things. He will take his pick and then trade and end up with like 7 first-round draft picks. In the real world, just doesn't work that way.
Agreed. I don't disagree with you.
I love your optimism. The front office is going to be able to turn this offseason into the greatest offseason of all time. You do have pieces. I get it. I just want to remind you.
Ron just sent me, our producer Ron just sent me a message. Could I see the Bears trading Khalil Mack for Sam Darnold? Uh-huh. Yeah, I could. Yes, I could. And guess what? If they did, there'd be a draft pick going one way. It's not to Chicago. It's not.
They'd be sending one to New York because of the money?
Yep. So here's the thing. If you're going to offload that money, there are a billion pass rushers in this market. This is the first time in the 30 years I've been watching the NFL that if you need an edge rusher, you're going to have your choice. This is going to be like a buffet. You just determine which one you want the most. Matthew Judon, Yannick Ngakoue, Bud Dupree, Khalil Mack's name has been bandied about repeatedly, which tells me there's at least a little smoke to that.
Adam Black asked in the comments on YouTube, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button while you are at it.
Little beer in the bottom corner. There it is. I'm going to figure this out one day.
Oh, wait, is that what that is?
Yeah, it's a little beer.
No,
there's a little beer in the bottom right-hand corner. It's a subscribe button.
That's a feature.
Hey, Tank just subscribed to our channel. It's only been...
No, it says already subscribed, jerk.
I mean, how many times have I sat here and watched my finger on the screen going, if I go that way, and there. He doesn't listen to me when I talk.
No, because I'm watching the playback because I wanted to make sure you got it wrong. Or make sure that you got it right. Adam Black says, are the Panthers going to trade Teddy Bridgewater?
He also said I'm playing with Panthers fans' emotions, and I'm not trying to. I'm really not. Here's the problem. As soon as one more domino falls, I'll be able to give you much better analysis on what's going to happen. Because do you know how many teams are in on Darnold right now?
All of them.
6.
The report from NBC Sports came out 2 days ago that it was 8. I've heard 12.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I've heard 12. This is what I've been trying to tell you. And everybody keeps saying, oh, you're a homer and you love Sam Darnold. You're right, I do. You know what? A lot of other teams do too. I just did my, and I don't really know how to quantify what I'm getting ready to say. I do a thing every year where I take the last 5 draft classes and evaluate all the players you know with the players that are in the draft of where they would be drafted now. If Sam Darnold was in this draft class, do you know where I would have him? If you put him the last 3 draft classes and this one together, how many quarterbacks would go over Sam Darnold?
2.
It's 2. It's Trevor Lawrence and it's Kyler Murray. That's it. That's it.
No Joe Burrow?
Or Joe Burrow. That's who did I say first?
You said Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah. No. Joe Burrow. Yeah. Joe Burrow is the right call.
Joe Burrow
Sorry.
and Trevor.
I don't have it up in front of me because I didn't plan on saying this today. That's the only 2.
Right.
It's the only 2 quarterbacks I've had rated above Darnold since he came out. Mm-hmm. Now, if you got to know what you know now, then yeah, Josh Allen would be up there too. You know who wouldn't be up there? Whole lot of young quarterbacks. Whole lot of Lamar Jackson, by the way. My opportunity to piss off Ravens fans.
The more and more I think the Carolina Panthers are going to make a move.
There's no doubt they're going to make
something.
A move.
They will make a play for Sam Darnold, and if they can't get Sam Darnold, then they will maybe take their chances in the draft. But I mean, I think Teddy is a commodity. If 8 teams are in on Sam, okay, just follow the path here. If 8 teams are in on Sam, and say the Chicago Bears aren't the one that lands him, Teddy Bridgewater, they could get something for him.
They
from
have
Chicago.
less than 0 interest in Teddy Bridgewater.
Really?
Less than 0. And I can give you 15 million reasons why. You're on the hook for 2 years at high money for him, and he's way older. Stephen Tao, that is the best response I've ever seen. He said Lamar Jackson's living rent-free in my head.
He's right.
When he wins another playoff game, we'll talk.
Well, he just won one. Is it not good enough for you?
Yeah, that and $1 will get him a Coke.
He's constantly just moving that bar. That bar goes higher and higher.
My bar is always the same. And please, God, tell me you're not delusional enough to not understand what my bar is.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. That's it. I don't give a fuck. I can give a fuck less. You can win all the playoff games you want to. You don't win Super Bowls, I don't care. Dan Marino. The reason Dan Marino is the most talented quarterback in NFL history. Mm-hmm. Don't have him in my top 5. You know why? Because he has no rings. Dum, dum, dum.
That's ridiculous.
Okay. How much jewelry he got? Because it's 0. Mm-hmm. That's all I care about.
He has a ring. He has an AFC championship ring.
Stephen Tao just asked me how many has Darnold won. Good for you.
Yeah.
He ain't wrong.
No, he's not wrong. That's kind of what I've been trying to say this whole time. You keep saying, if you're not winning Super Bowls, you never get paid. No, I mean, there's room in the league, and there's contracts out there, obviously, for guys who don't win Super Bowls. It's very hard to win a Super Bowl, in case you haven't noticed. I mean, we have gone through.
Look who you're talking
exactly.
to.
That's the thing I'm talking about, though. We have gone through an era in football where one guy has been in 10 of them.
Which is why he's the unquestioned greatest of all time.
And you're not wrong about that, but to trash everybody else.
I'm not trashing everybody else.
All right.
Somebody in the comments, somebody just said, I just said Trent Dilfer was better than Dan Marino.
Yep.
No, I didn't. Because Trent Dilfer didn't win that Super Bowl. The defense won that Super Bowl. The defense won that Super Bowl.
Of course.
It's the greatest defense ever. I think that had a little bit of a role. I love Brad Johnson to death, but you're telling me that's why the Buccaneers won the first Super Bowl? I'm going to say you're drunk. But the days of that happening are gone. We're out of that era. You're not winning a Super Bowl based solely on your defense. Because, I mean, let's be really honest. We talked a lot about that vaunted Tampa Bay defense that won one this year.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you win one without Tom Brady? Didn't think so. Needed old Tom. Needed Tom. Weird how that keeps happening.
Everybody should get them a Tom. I really feel that way. After what we've experienced over the last year, I think everybody needs a Tom. No participation trophies. No participation trophies, says Ron. That's the goal, though. Everybody is out to win the Super Bowl, but not everybody can win a Super Bowl. And just because they don't doesn't mean you don't. Not having Dan Marino in your top 5 of quarterbacks all time is ridiculous.
Is he better than Elway? The answer is no. The answer is no, and it's not debatable. Is he better than Montana?
No.
Is he better than Brady? No. Okay, I'm already to 4, and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I literally
didn't. Is
he better than Peyton?
No.
Okay, I'm to 5.
Yeah.
So me not having Dan in my number, that's stupid. Okay, I'm to 4 and didn't even think about it.
Okay.
Oh, let's
give
see.
me the 5th one.
Oh, let's pull another one. There is one out there. Where are you?
If you say Drew Brees, I think we're going to fight.
Johnny Unitas wore a leather helmet. I'm not.
Johnny Unitas does not count.
Yeah, sorry, but greatest running back of all time. I'm not going Jim Brown. Sorry about it. Red Grange, Paul Hornung. Yeah,
Those guys weren't even quarterbacks.
That. Yeah, I'm not doing that. They were running backs. I was talking about. Keep up.
Oh, sorry.
Did you say Michael Vick?
Stop it.
Oh, why am I blind? There's one. I know there's one there. I know there is. Mm-hmm. Brett Favre, screw you.
No.
Do you win a ring?
We're out. We're out.
I'll go Aaron Rodgers, too.
No. No, sir.
Why is the Kevin Vick Memorial Bell tucked so far away from me?
I don't know. You're the one that moves it. No one else is allowed to do it.
The Condor is speaking. Matt Hoffman going crazy.
Donovan McNabb, stop that! Throw Donovan McNabb at me. All right. You want to talk about wide receivers?
Oh, I do. Yes, we'll talk about wide receivers, but I want to do one thing first. Then we'll do a reset so we can.
Okay.
Did you happen to see over the weekend that the NFL did one of the dumbest things I've seen them doing the entire time I've been a fan?
What's that?
So there's 3 teams that have new jerseys this year: the Bengals, the 49ers, and I'm blanking on the Bears. I think it's the Bears.
Okay.
They fucked up and leaked them on eBay.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody that works in the NFL offices somehow smuggled out a few jerseys and put them online for sale. So now we know what all of your new jerseys look like.
Oh, hot.
Oh, by the way, they're all bad. All of them are bad. The Bengals looks like something you create on Madden, and they had those.
Is this the white
helmets.
tiger thing that I've been seeing?
No, that's fictitious.
Okay.
Yeah, their helmets look. It's the same helmets.
Okay, so how do they look terrible?
Because they just look plain as hell. It's just an orange jersey with tiger stripes on the sleeve, and it says Bengals right here.
Yeah.
That's it. Stop redesigning jerseys and making them look exactly how they looked before. The Browns. It wasn't the Bears. It was the Browns. The Browns actually wasn't bad. It's the same thing. Just
right.
The Bengals look exactly like the Bears. That's why that was in my head. It looks just exactly like the Bears' uniforms. But you leaked them on eBay. This is where we're at in the world. I saw the new Bengals jerseys on eBay. Cool.
That's hot.
I've wanted to get this out for 2 days, and I keep forgetting.
Right.
Do we have a wet button?
Oh, yeah, where is it? Sam.
Oh.
It happened on screen.
We do have buttons. We can't hear them.
It, so.
We haven't figured out that there's a board right here that does all kinds of things. Mm-hmm. But we haven't figured out how to make it go in here so that we can hear it.
It just gets lost in the shuffle. That's
they can
the
hear
only
it.
problem.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that is all that matters. Here, let's have you some scary music.
I can't even see what buttons he's hitting. So for me, I just feel like
that's why I had to act it out for you, so you knew what was going on. Wide receiver market, it's pretty hot. There are a lot of wide receivers that are free agents this year. We saw, unfortunately, for Allen Robinson, he got left out. He doesn't get to hit the free agent market this year. He gets to stay with the Chicago Bears. That's the biggest loss to this free agent class. Other than that, it is stacked.
That's like pissing your mom off and you don't get to go to Carowinds anymore and she makes you clean your room instead.
Aww.
The Chicago Bears are the cleaning your room of the NFL.
Curtis Samuel being number 2 on your list is...
Love him. Drunk on him, just scattered, smothered, covered, drunker, damn it. People that call me country in the... first of all, come up with a better... Come on. We all know that. I look like Hank Williams Jr. Of course I'm country. I'm plastered on Curtis Samuel. Mm-hmm. If I had... I will tell you there are... The beauty of doing this now is that now we're getting rumors about where these guys could go. Somebody's laughing at my Nelson Aguilar in the comments. He's going to get paid. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Paid. Paid.
He had a really good year for Las Vegas this year.
He's one of the hottest names on the free agent market. He's hotter than Corey Davis or Will Fuller as of right now. Mm-hmm. I could not physically put, and I'll be honest with you, it was hard for me to put him above Marvin Jones, but I did begrudgingly.
He's actually, for me, a guy that makes me question Carson Wentz. Like, I'm a believer in Carson Wentz. But seeing how good Nelson Aguilar was this past season made me think maybe there was something to the relationship between him and Carson Wentz, because he couldn't catch the ball well in Philadelphia. He had a lot of drops in Philadelphia.
And that's the quarterback's fault.
No,
that's like plastering. That's like getting drunk, plastering your car into a bridge, and blaming the BMW. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I'm not saying it's Carson Wentz's fault. I'm just saying it made me wonder. Maybe it was the quarterback,
or maybe it was the gloves. Nelson Aguilar couldn't have caught a cold in a fucking freezer if you had doused him in water. His hands were awful, and the reason he's so low is because of that. His good is fantastic. The problem is that I've seen him go full on Bart Simpson Butterfingers, and I can't forget that.
But there was a whole lot less of that when he was in Las Vegas this past year. And he did exactly what he had to do to set himself up to get a big payday, and I agree with you. I think that's coming.
The top 7 guys on the screen, other than Antonio Brown, are all going to get paid. And I'm going to make a sweeping declaration right now. Kenny Galladay is going to the Dolphins. I have this weird feeling that Kenny Galladay and Aaron Jones are both going to end up with the Miami Dolphins. And that's going to be their splashy to make Tua Tagovailoa look better. And I'll be honest with you.
It would.
It would.
It'd work.
You roll into next year with Devontae Parker, Kenny Galladay, Mike Gesicki, and Aaron Jones. Okay then.
Yeah, that's a team to be feared in that
if you're
in
bad
that
next
division.
year, you're not going to have a whole lot of excuses. And that line, the line is ridiculous. The Dolphins are one of those teams that it pains me to say this, but they're going to be really good for a really long time.
Who else is getting paid?
Curtis Samuel's going to get way more than you think he is. And I can tell you definitively, it's between 2 teams, and they both play in the same stadium. It's the Jets and the Giants. They're both going to be all in on Curtis Samuel. First of all, he's from Brooklyn. He's made it very clear that if he leaves Carolina, that it's probably going to be for somewhere closer to home. And he fits in Mike LaFleur's offense like a glove. I love the thought of him being a Jet.
Yeah.
My fear is that we're going to make a run at Curtis Samuel and wind up with Juju Smith-Schuster.
That's definitely going to be a disappointment, because Curtis Samuel to me is a guy who can do a lot of things. He's not a number one to me. Do you disagree?
Juju?
No, Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel fits really
piece.
well in specific offenses. Mike LaFleur's offense, he would be Brandon Ayuk. He's the motion guy. But here's the thing. I like Juju in that offense too, because I think Juju could be Deebo Samuel. And both are very important to that offense. My fear is that if the Jets miss on Samuel, they're going to they'll retain Jamison Crowder and try to make him that Ayuk slot motion guy. And that I don't love that. Which Deebo did a lot of that too. This is a multiple. God, I'm so excited for how good this offense is going to look. I've missed being able to score points.
Will Fuller is going to get a big payday as well, and so will Corey Davis.
I think Corey Davis is going to wind up with the Ravens. It makes too much sense. He's not a number 1 receiver, but he's a hell of a 2. And he can block, and he fits that scheme, and he's got pretty good hands. He's just a physical receiver. A lot of the knock on him has been, he can't get open. He can as a 2. And if you put him opposite Hollywood Brown with Mark Andrews lined up inside of him, I'll bet you he gets open.
He'll find a way.
He's a guy I like a lot. I'm watching the tape on Corey Davis. I've gotten more to a point where I think he can be a back-end 1, high-end 2.
I think that he is going to be one of the guys that gets paid. Will Fuller's going to get paid. Why not Antonio Brown? You left him out of that group that's going to get big money. Is it it's the character issues and
That's
nothing
because
else?
he's a freaking lunatic. That's why. Because he is absolutely out of his freaking mind.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And you're
about
never
that.
going to forget that. I mean, here's the thing. No matter how good he is, first of all, I think he goes back to Tampa Bay. I firmly believe that. I've thought that the whole time. Because I just don't think there's going to be that much of a market for him. I mean, be really honest with yourself. Look at the teams with realistic money. Who's going to look at Antonio Brown and go, yeah, let's do that? I mean, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Because I've already looked at it, and I don't see one. I'll be honest with you, I think Marvin Jones Jr. gets more money than Antonio Brown does.
It would not surprise me. I mean, you're getting a sounder investment in doing that because you don't know when this thing could blow up. Yeah, he was good. You know, he was good for what, 6 weeks, 7 or 8 weeks, something like that with Tom Brady. Send him somewhere else. And, you know, you never know what you're going to get. 3 weeks into mini camps or whatever, you could lose him forever. Because it just takes one time.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Once we're done with the free agents, you're going to see my list of receivers in the draft, and you're going to see why all of these guys, outside of the high-end guys, basically the first 3 on this screen right here, other than them, they're all going to get less money than you think. I've heard 5 years for 70 for Will Fuller. I don't buy it. I think you're going to see 5 at 70 for Kenny Golladay. You might see 4 at 50 or 4 at 60 for Juju Smith-Schuster. And I think Curtis Samuel's going to get 5 at about 50 as a slot guy.
Wow.
Just follow the market. We had this cap number not that long ago. Jamison Crowder made the most money of any slot receiver, and he was not as multiple as Curtis Samuel. He got $10+ million a year.
And there are only going to be a few teams that can get on them. Who would be best served by addressing wide receiver in free agency? We got the Dolphins, obviously.
The Dolphins and the Jets are the 2 primaries. The Bears need one, but they're broke. So I think the Bears are going to try to address that with Darnell Mooney as the 2 and try to figure out another outside guy or Darnell Mooney in the slot and figure out another outside guy to pair with Allen Robinson. Teams that could try to address it, the Colts. The Colts is a big one. And frankly, every team that has big money needs a receiver.
True.
And so that's why I think the high-end 3 are going to wind up with getting paid. Golladay in Indianapolis makes a lot of sense, too, by the way. Alshon Jeffrey on steroids.
You got the Jaguars, the Jets, the Patriots, and the Colts. Those are the top 4 teams that all have money.
The Jaguars are the only one I don't see throwing big money at a receiver. They probably will make a run at Curtis Samuel. But the receiver I thought they would be after was Chris Godwin, and he didn't make it to the market. So I think the Jaguars are going to spend their money elsewhere. And probably, based on what I saw yesterday, spend it poorly.
Right. But once it all shakes out after that, there's going to be a lot of deals being made.
The one that I'm the most confident in is Will Fuller winds up in Green Bay. They were too hard after him at the deadline.
Right.
Now, how they make the money work, I have no idea. This might be one of those deals that has 10 voidable years. At this point, who knows? We're just making this shit up as we go along. But Will Fuller, I can tell you that Brian Gutekunst, the GM of Green Bay, really likes Will Fuller. Tried very hard to get him at the deadline, and it just didn't work.
All right. How about in the draft? The NFL draft class is stacked.
This is so few of them. This is just 9 of what could end up being 20 starters out of this class.
I mean, you've got possible impacts into the immediate impact receivers into the 3rd round of the draft?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I look at a guy like Rashad Bateman, who I have at 9, and a lot of people are going to grizzle at that and say, why do you have Terrace Marshall and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Shi Smith above him? Because he is a dumpster fire between the ears. Now I can finally tell you what I've been teasing about Rashad Bateman for months. He's a dumpster fire between the ears. Talent's great. He didn't look great this year, and then he ultimately opted out and spun around and twirled the baton and did all kinds of ridiculous shit. That's going to hurt him. He's going to go markedly lower than people think he will. Unless he kills the interviews, which I've been repeatedly told he's not going to.
Red flag after red flag after red flag with him.
Yep.
I mean, he's a guy that there was a lot of talk going into this past season as he could be a first-round draft pick. But you say it's not going to happen.
Bateman?
Yeah.
I think he goes back into the 2nd, beginning of the 3rd. Shi Smith is the guy that I'm going to be way higher on than everybody else, and I promise you I'm right. He's going to wind up in a San Francisco-type offense. I'm not saying he goes to San Francisco. I'm saying he ends up in that type of offense. What we were just talking about with Curtis Samuel, and he's going to be a star. I want you to think, here's what jumps off the screen about the tape with me, for me with Shi Smith. Every team they played knew where the ball was going. It didn't matter. In the SEC, it did not matter. He was the only legitimate receiver on that team. Florida double-teamed him, and he still beat them sideways. Doesn't matter. He's that good. I frankly almost had him above Terrace Marshall. There's one great big difference between those two. Terrace Marshall is a giant human being. And I do see, if you told me one of them was going to become a one, it's Terrace Marshall. But I don't like the initial burst with Marshall. His ability to get off the line scares me. He's going to need to be, I'll tell you where I would love Terrace Marshall, is as a replacement for Corey Davis in Tennessee. They run so much play action that if there's any indecision by the corner and he's allowed to straight line burst, he's going to be damn near impossible to stop. But that's where he needs to fall in. Baltimore, that's another place I would love Terrace Marshall. And I see him mocked there a lot because he would give Lamar that big receiver if they miss on a Galladay, if they don't pursue, a Corey Davis. I would really like him in Baltimore.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is a guy that stands out on this list to me. You've got him ranked at number 6. I think he is overlooked by a lot of guys that I have, read their draft analysis, and there's some don't have him very high.
Most don't have him. I have him higher than anybody you're going to see.
Amon-Ra St. Brown to me though he's been an impact player for USC since he was a freshman.
He has the thing that people are going to, the knock on him is going to be that sometimes he lets the ball get into his body. Can he separate at the next level? I have none of these fears. They said the same thing about Michael Pittman. How'd that work out? And they strike me as the same guy. I mean, they were tutored by the same set of coaches. Amon-Ra St. Brown was, to me, arguably the better talent. I think Michael Pittman's just a bulldog when it comes to getting his body right and think of his dad. His dad played for your Buccaneers. He has the same mindset his dad had. Amon-Ra St. Brown is, I think, overlooked by the whole community. I think he's one of those guys that next year we're going to look at that's on the all-rookie. He's on all the all-rookie teams because he wound up as the 2 receiver on a good team, and he was a difference maker. Indianapolis. I would love to see him paired with Michael Pittman. Now, you'd need Paris Campbell to be a thing.
Right.
Which I don't think is ever going to happen.
Really?
But, no, he just can't stay healthy. He played 9 games in 2 years.
Yeah. It's been a very rough start for him, but, I'm still holding out hope because I think he's going to be useful once he is healthy.
I agree. He's very fast. But the next 2 guys are virtually the same player. They're both speedy little slot guys. I feel like I have tarried on Rondale Moore more than anybody else has. He's dropped off the table. There are a lot of analysts that have watched the tape on him, and salary cap's 182.5. It fell in, split the difference of what I thought it would be and where it was. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I like Rondale Moore a lot. Rondale Moore, to me, reminds me so much of Randall Cobb that I can't get away from it. He just does a lot of things. He's very multiple. I've always loved him in Green Bay because he strikes me as a guy that could be Randall Cobb 2.0. And I really like that. But now the one I love is Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney's going to go as the 4th receiver in this class, and I have almost no doubt of that. He has screamed up draft board since the season ended.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Kadarius Toney out of Florida. I did not see Tylan Wallace up there.
He's not my top.
He's a guy that I really like.
Okay, you tell me who on that screen you're going to take off.
Oh no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying he's the next one on the list.
Maybe. He might be the next one on my list. I don't remember. Guys that I really like that are not on the screen. I mean, frankly, you know about Devonta Smith. I don't really know how the receivers are going to, the top 3 are going to go. I feel like Devonta Smith is going to slide a little bit. I think Jamar Chase may end up going first. As time goes on, you get him in front of you, you get the opt-out thing explained, he may end up going first.
I think he deserves to go first.
I don't, but that's just me. I've always been down on LSU receivers. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not true. That's not true.
And
I was down on all of the Joe Burrow LSU wide receivers,
right.
and I was wrong on Justin Jefferson.
Right, because the quarterback matters, and he had one of the best ones of all time throwing to him last year, and the fact that he opted out after he found out that he wasn't really going to have a quarterback this year, you knock him for that.
The opt-out thing makes me nervous. I think all of the opt-out guys are going to fall. Jamar Chase is the one that's his tape is so good. And Justin Jefferson, I'm going to call this the Justin Jefferson effect.
Yes.
Is that so many teams missed on Jefferson last year because they thought the same thing I did, that Joe Burrow made him look better than he was, that Jamar Chase might. And Jamar Chase was the better of the two.
Indeed.
And he may end up going first. Plus, there are knocks on Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle. The Devonta Smith thing, I think Devonta Smith kept himself from going to Miami when he told a scout, when asked who did he prefer, Tua or Mac Jones, he didn't even let him finish the sentence before he said Mac Jones. And said it very dogmatically, apparently.
We know about at least I'm more familiar with the ACC guys. We know De'Ami Brown and Daz Newsome and Sage Surratt. Those are all guys that I've watched. Well, hell, I've watched Sage Surratt since he was playing at, I think it was East Lincoln High School. What about some of these other guys, though, like Dwayne Eskridge from Western Michigan?
He's going to go stupidly high. His biggest comp is Tyreek Hill. He came to the Senior Bowl and dominated, which is going to greatly elevate his stock. The knock on him is going to be competition because he played at a smaller school, but he is ignorantly fast. This is a guy that will scream up draft boards. I had him originally going in the 5th. I could see him going in the 2nd now. He's just that fast.
There are a lot of wide receivers to be had in the draft. I mean, you go down to Tutu Atwell.
Tutu Atwell's a guy that I'm probably too low on. He should probably be on the screen, if I'm being really honest with you.
That high?
Yeah, he's good. He's another slot guy, but that's what the NFL's becoming. Walter Football,
guys, yeah.
Walter Football, which is one of the websites that I reference the most. I love those guys. They're fantastic at what they do, and they're a little contrarian. They see things similarly sometimes the way I do. The problem with Atwell, he's going to run. He will run well. The problem with him is at best he probably weighs 165 pounds. He's a very little guy. And it'll have to be a team that's okay with that thinks he can that he can hold up. But I think he's a guy that we could be talking about down the line is, damn, how did we let him fall so far?
Yeah.
Because he's just a playmaker.
Yeah, if you have a team, if you're a team that doesn't have a whole lot of money and you need a wide receiver, this is a great position to be in. 2 drafts in a row, we've had stocked with wide receivers.
Oh, I mean, if you need a slot receiver, this is the year. I mean, between Shi Smith, who I've already talked about, Eli Moore from Ole Miss, Tutu Atwell, Demetric Felton from UCLA is going to be a slot receiver in the NFL. There's just a ton of guys that I think are going to be tremendously good players.
How many wide receivers in the first round?
I will say a 5th one sneaks in. Devonta Smith definitively will. Jalen Waddle is going to go higher than you think he will. Playing in the national title game is going to be something that NFL GMs and NFL coaches specifically look at and go, I want that guy on my team. Plus, he's fast as fuck.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase will. Kadarius Toney will. I'm going to throw Terrace Marshall in there because I think there's too many teams at the back end of the first round that could use a guy like that. He's a very big, height, weight, speed guy. And there probably will be a wide receivers coach somewhere that thinks they can teach him to fix the deficiencies.
Yeah. Well, the Green Bay Packers pick at 29. They'll be a prime candidate to throw somebody in there at the end of the first round.
That's what we all think, and we've said that a bunch of times. But in the words of one of our former presidents, fool me once, can't fool me again. And that's how I feel about Green Bay.
Oh, wait. I've got the button. Here.
Fool me once. Shame on you.
Oh.
Fool me, we can't get fooled again.
All right, yeah.
That button
was
goes
the president.
for a long time.
That was the president. He was doing his fool me once, can't fool me again.
I love having the buttons, but we have to figure out a way for them to.
We'll hook it up. I've been scattered lately, and I just haven't been. I've been meaning to. It's one of those weeks where I've been meaning to go to the store for like 5 days, and I just haven't been able to do it because I've had so much going on, working over the weekend with 6 basketball games and football on Friday night. It's been hell. I'll get it worked out though. We'll fix it up so everything's nice and cozy. Be sure to like and follow the Sportsocracy. Hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. Time to hit it for the Offseason Files, our next edition. And the Chicago Bears.
The
Chicago Bears, they're consumed right now with the talk about Russell Wilson and how we're going to make this work. They just franchised Allen Robinson. They've got a really good defense. They've got, they got David Montgomery, who had a good end of the year last year. They did make the playoffs. They've got a huge answer, though, or a huge question at quarterback. What are they going to do? We're convinced they're not getting Russell Wilson. There's not a trade. It doesn't make sense. I don't think you have the pieces to have Seattle even interested in having the discussion.
I agree with that. I don't think you have anything that's going to intrigue them.
No. And they're a team that's, over the cap. What are they going to how do they make this work? How do they find a quarterback and not have to settle for one, either bringing back Mitch Trubisky or having to start Nick Foles?
The path to righteousness for them, Sam Darnold. This is one of a multitude of teams that I think the best case scenario is they wind up with Darnold. Mm-hmm. The backup plan scares me. Their backup plan sucks because it's bring back Mitch Trubisky and hope that his last 4 games, which were against the Jaguars, the Vikings, I can't remember. It was three of the 4 teams were god awful.
Lions, probably.
Lions were one of them. I'm not a believer in Trubisky, and I think the one great mistake you can make here is bring him back. Here's the thing. They have a GM and coach that know if this year doesn't go well, you're unemployed in 12 months. So they're going to make some kind of splashy move. My hope, if I was a Bears fan, would be that they make an aggressive move towards Darnold. Because I think Darnold would fit in this offense nicely.
Okay.
Give him Allen Robinson, add one of these receivers that we've talked about, ad nauseum, because this is such a good receiver class. And I do believe in Darnell Mooney. I also believe in Cole Kmet. And you look at David Montgomery, if all of those things hit, then this offense could be
decent.
Good. I would say good.
Really? Okay.
If you add that third, you need a third option that's not Cordero Patterson. Because he's not a freaking wide receiver, no matter how many teams try to make him one. He's a dude that needs to have the ball in his hand. He's not a fucking wide receiver, and I've said that for years.
Right.
One of the worst route-running receivers I have ever seen in my life.
But he's so damn fast.
But damn it, he's fast.
Right. That's why people fall in love with him, because he's so damn fast. As far as their free agents go, is there anybody they're really yearning to bring back? Artie Burns?
That's one of those dudes that was overdrafted, and I have been screaming, stop giving him money.
Right. But nobody that they're bending over backwards to get back. Jermaine Ifedi?
Ugh. This is a starting guard tackle class. This is a weak offensive line class, not tackle. Mm-hmm. I could easily see them. I just don't think he's going to cost that much. I won't be shocked if they reunite with Kyle Long. I think that's been undervalued because he did like it in Chicago. Mm-hmm. At least that's everything I ever heard. I don't know him personally, but it makes sense. Other than that, I think they'll bring back Cordero Patterson just to be a kick returner because he's that good. Mm-hmm. And they need playmakers. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you're going to let a guy that's that good walk out the door. No. Other than that, thank God you finally learned your lesson on Buster Screen. I tried to tell you. Watched him with the Jets. That dude gets burnt more than toast in a broken toaster. So thank God. I don't give a damn who your slot corner is next year. Mm-hmm. He cannot be worse than Buster Screen.
They've got a lot of really good pieces on defense. There's not many holes that they have to fill. Which is good because I think they can address them through the draft.
By the way, I missed one. I think they would like to re-sign Tayshaun Gibson.
I could see that.
He fits that team well.
And then I don't feel like he's a guy that you would have to overpay.
More than you think, but it's a good safety class, which might it might dwindle that a little bit.
Right. Well, they're picking at the 20th spot in the NFL draft. So who's their target in the first round?
I mean, you got to look. If you're looking at team needs, obviously they need a quarterback. You're not getting a quarterback at 20. Unless you fall in love with Kyle Trask. And if you do, you remember Rex Grossman? Imagine him, but about that much taller. That's where you're at. I don't see that happening. This is a team that needs a tackle, in my opinion, and they need a receiver. I don't think there's going to be a receiver for them. Right now, I have them taking Elijah Vera Tucker, which is a pick I would love because that is a very multiple guy. You can put him in a lot of places. He immediately helps the offensive line. And I think there's something to be said for that. The thing, if you whether it's Darnold, Nick Foles, Trubisky, Teddy Bridgewater, Uncle Rico, Burt Reynolds from what was it damn movie? Longest Yard. There it is. I don't care who your quarterback is. You're gonna have to do a lot to protect them because as of right now, you have mediocre weapons. David Montgomery has made that better. It's still not great. But having Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet and another outside receiver would give whoever the quarterback is, it would give them a chance. I like them taking a lineman right there, and there are a couple that fall. Elijah Vera Tucker is a guy that, to me, has top 15 talent. And he's probably going to fall outside of the top 15 just because of team needs. The way the order lays, all of the different things. And I think that would be a tremendous pick for the Bears.
Alex Leatherwood, is that too early for Alex Leatherwood?
Alex Leatherwood's going to fall.
Really?
He got abused at the Senior Bowl.
Oh.
Alex Leatherwood's, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be shocked if they took Alex Leatherwood at 52. That's how far I think he's going to fall.
Wow.
And I don't hate the talent. There's a thing about Alabama linemen that you have to be careful about. And we've fallen for this a bunch of times. The talent on that line is so good that sometimes you can cover up for a deficiency. Alex Leatherwood's a gigantic human being. If you're planning on playing him at tackle, you really have to understand that footwork's going to be mandatory because he's not overly fast. He's not going to test super well, but the tape on him is at times very impressive. You just have to figure out how it was schemed. Was he being protected? All the things like that. If you get him at 52, I'm all about it. I don't want to go any higher than I really don't want to take him any higher than that. And that's a guy I had in the back end of the first round of my first mock. But I think he's going to fall.
Does this team
my next mock, by the way, comes out tomorrow, live, right here.
Does this team need another down lineman on the defense? I mean, they already have guys that can get after the quarterback. With Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks is good.
I look at getting back Eddie Goldman. I think they'd like to bring back Mario Edwards. I don't know that they will, but everything I've heard is they would like to bring him back. I don't think that's a huge need. I don't think they need a whole lot on defense, if I'm being really honest.
No.
The defense is very good. Depth is always a thing, but I'm looking at the offensive side of the ball. I wouldn't be shocked if they took 2 linemen and a receiver with their first 3 picks. Offensive linemen and a receiver with their first 3 picks. This is another landing spot of, to me, the Bears need a receiver, but I think you can wait because there are a bajillion receivers in this class. You can find one that fits what you want to do later on. My biggest takeaway from the Bears is you need to bypass the urge to reach for a Terrace Marshall or somebody like that. Sit back. Sage Surratt, that's a guy I would love in this offense. And it would make me a little nervous that you don't have a real burner, but I think Darnell Mooney can be that out of the slot.
Yeah. I really like Sage Surratt.
I do too.
And I think that he can be Jamison Crowder level good. Or do you think he's better than that?
Those are 2 very different players, so that would not be my comp. If I was going to make a comp to Sage Surratt, it would probably be give me a minute. I'll come up with one.
Okay.
He's way bigger than Jamison Crowder. He strikes me as You know what? I'm going to use a Jets analogy here.
Okay.
Jericho Cotchery. It's exactly who and that just became one of my new favorite analogies in this draft class.
That's not bad.
I think he could be a very good version of Jericho Cotchery. A guy that just never drops passes. He's very reliable. He's a good third down target. He's a good safety blanket for a quarterback. And I think no matter who the quarterback is in Chicago, that would be beneficial for them to have.
Okay. I like that a lot.
Yeah, you keep talking. I'm going to go back to my profile on Saints Rat and change that before I forget it.
With them being, $20 million over the cap, they can't really be a player in free agency unless they restructure a whole shitload of contracts. And that's a whole lot of cap gymnastics there. Because they do have guys that they could restructure, but I don't know. To me, I think you just kind of stand pat with what you got, hope that you knock it out in the draft. You do have to figure out a quarterback somehow.
You do. I mean, and here's the thing. You're going to see a Bears team here that goes all in. So in terms of restructuring contracts and kicking the can down the road, you know who doesn't give a rat's ass about that? Ryan Pace. Because he knows if it doesn't pan out this year, they're going to clean house. They're going to get me. They're going to get Nagy. They're going to get everybody in this administration.
But what's the safety? When do you reach the safety zone?
What do you mean?
They just made the playoffs.
Barely.
So where's their what can save their jobs?
See what I did there? Barely. What could save their job?
It's the weakest bear ever.
I've been talking for a long period of time, but I'm running out of liquids over here. What could save their jobs? I don't think this is a record thing with the Bears. I really don't. I think this is a direction of the franchise. This offense has been a fucking nightmare since Matt Nagy got here. They had a 4-game stretch at the end of last year against shitty competition that was what they were promised it would be with Nagy.
Yeah. Oh, Mitch Trubisky's playing his best football ever. Yeah, he's playing shitty teams.
Yeah, cool. Mitch Trubisky's best football is the worst for 15 starters in the NFL.
You're not wrong about that.
I think it's a trend of the franchise. If the franchise is going the right direction, they can keep their jobs. If it's not, they won't.
It's a very nebulous line to meet, but I guess it's like pornography. You'll know it when you see it.
Thanks, Nancy Reagan.
You will know art by explanation is not going to fly anymore for the Chicago Bears. We've got to see it on the field and feel good about the future of this franchise. I just don't know how you can do it without having a quarterback. And that answer is not Mitch Trubisky, and that answer is not Nick Foles. And whatever gymnastics you can pull out here to make it work, Sam Darnold, now we can talk. Now you've got some vision of the future, but until a quarterback happens, I don't think anything else can happen for this team.
I would agree with that.
They got to figure it out in the draft, mostly, though, because of the cap number. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. You are in the Sportsocracy, live from the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow all of our off-season previews as we continue down the line. It's all helpfully in the little playlist. Next up on the Offseason Files, it's the Washington football team. It's a team that I think really has a shot to make some waves in the NFC East. They did it this year in a shitty division. They were the best of the shittiest teams in the NFL. But the growth of that team over the year was phenomenal. What Alex Smith did this past season cannot go unheralded, and it hasn't gone unheralded as he got the 2020 Comeback Player of the Year award. However, he's no longer with the team. They let him loose, saved some money that way, and now they've got that same question because Dwayne Haskins is now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what they do at quarterback, they're in the Sam Darnold market.
100%.
They are.
But this is a team that I don't think is going to do something stupid for Darnold.
Okay.
Ron Rivera is safe as they get. Mm-hmm. They're not going to try to jump the turnstile here. They're not afraid they're going to get fired. The way the Bears do, the way a few of these other teams do.
No, he probably has more control over the franchise and the team than any other coach this early in his tenure with a team.
I would probably agree with that.
Yeah, from the way everything has gone down with the football team, and I think that was, sort of, Ron Rivera to me is not a flex the muscle kind of guy. He's more of a team guy than that, but I think that's what the Dwayne Haskins thing was. I think that was a flex move by Ron Rivera saying we have to move on from this. I think he's got a lot of power, a lot of respect in that room. And you're right, he's not a guy that's going to allow something ridiculously stupid to happen.
And this is a team with money, and that's something you got to remember. This is a team that has drafted really, really well, especially on the defense. And obviously I think you can add Antonio Gibson to that. I liked Antonio Gandy Golden last year. That's a guy that I think that's a guy that doesn't get talked about. I could easily see him developing into the two in Washington. And you tell me I have Terry McLaurin, Gandy Golden, Logan Thomas, and Antonio Gibson. That's a pretty formidable set of weapons. If I'm being really honest, that is a hellaciously formidable set of weapons, and there's only one of them that's not on a rookie deal. That doesn't suck, especially when you're looking at a defensive line that has, to me, the best young defensive end in the league. You got the best young pass rusher in the league, two quality interior D linemen, and then you got a guy like Montez Sweat that to me is more of a situational pass rusher. I think it would help if you could find a way to satiate Ryan Kerrigan. I don't know if you can or not, but hopefully you can, because I think those two together works nicely.
And I think you undersell their interior linemen. I think they're more than solid.
I didn't wax poetic about it. It's a very formidable. It's the best defensive line in football, and that's not debatable to me.
Exactly. But that was the point that I was trying to make, was that even if you say they're good, they're really, really good, I think that's underselling it.
I agree with that. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they are the best defensive line in football, and it's not even close.
Okay, I undersold that a little bit. My apologies.
I'm not trying to critique. I'm trying to add. But they do, they're going to – Ronald Darby's a free agent. And so, that's a hole that they need to fill. I think –
I could easily see it being filled with Ronald Darby.
Think they bring him back?
I think it's going to matter about the money. The thing about Darby is that beauty is in the eye of the beholder with him, because depending on what scout, depending on what service or whatever that you listen to, you can get a completely different take on Ronald Darby. Because some will say he's a top 15 corner in the league. Others will say he shouldn't be a starter. For me, I think it falls somewhere in the middle of that.
He's fine.
I think he's a solid starter in the NFL. My question is, what does the money look like? You know what it's not going to be? The $3 million you paid last year. That ain't what it's going to be, because the cornerback market's awful. There are just very limited corners out there. So if he hits the market, I could see him getting a deal that Washington does not feel the urge to match.
Do you think they target one in the draft, or will they go after a free agent? Malcolm Butler's out there now.
Yeah. Ooh. Yay. I could see them if they stay at 19 and one of these guys falls, whether it's J.C. Horn. In a perfect world, it'd be Caleb Farley. Because Caleb Farley fits on this defense like a glove. I just don't know if that's what they're going to prioritize. I look at this team and go, you need at least one tackle. You might need two, depending on who you ask. You brought back Brandon Sheriff, which will help, with Antonio Gibson. This is another spot I could see Elijah Vera Tucker. It just depends how what you believe in him. There are some people that think he's a guard. I think he can be a tackle. And if you believe that, then him, Christian Darrisaw, this is another place Sam Cosmi could go, because they all fit this schematically the way the Washington football team plays.
Okay.
And I'm very tired of calling them the football team. I need a mascot. Please bring me a mascot. I don't give a fuck what it is. Just give me something.
You got to wait another year.
I know.
It fucks up the way I search for things on Google. I was doing that this
morning.
Does
me too, because I don't know whether to search WAS or WFT. Can we universally agree on that shit too? Go one or the other. I could care less which one. I just need to know which one to type in when I'm looking for them.
I like the WFT because it looks like WTF. And most of the time I'm asking myself that question about the things that go on, not on the football field or in the locker room about this team, but the outside. What? What fucking team? You're constantly thinking WTF about this franchise. So I like the WFT.
I think they're headed in the right direction.
I do too.
I think Ron Rivera was the greatest hire you could have made. I think the fact that the Dwayne Haskins thing blew up in Daniel Snyder's face and really gave him something to go, oh, this is why I should be listening to Ron Rivera. I think it's the best thing that ever happened to this team. Mm-hmm. And now you have to find a quarterback. Is it Taylor Heineke? I don't think it's Kyle Allen. I know they like Steven Montez as well, but I don't think it's him either. Mm-hmm. Just a question of how much are you willing to give up? The problem with Darnold is I don't think Washington's willing to give up enough to beat the Bears or beat the Panthers or a few of these other quarterback needy teams. And they don't have to.
With the 20 pick, it would be another a 3 to make up the difference.
What are you talking about? They get back or
no? Like I say, so Carolina's got an offer on the table. They're willing to give up 8.
8 for Darnold and 34.
Yeah. So the football team, they offered 20 and what to make up the difference?
I don't know that they can. I don't know that they have an offer that they would be willing to do to beat Carolina. I mean, because you got to look, if the Jets are as in love with Kyle Pitts as I am, that's the only way you're getting him. Mm-hmm. So you could take Zach Wilson at 2, take Kyle Pitts at 8, and now your franchise looks markedly different than it did 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. Washington may get beat by circumstance when it comes to Darnold or any of these other guys. And I'll be honest with you, based off what I saw of Taylor Heineke, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to go in with him as your starter next year. There's nobody on planet Earth that knows him better than Ron Rivera does. Mm-hmm. And at this point, you basically have him on what equates to a rookie deal. So it's not like they're going to win games based on Antonio Gibson and the defense. The question is, can Taylor Heineke hold on to Alex Smith? Mm-hmm. Can he be Alex Smith in his prime? Mm-hmm. Not turning the ball over, making the right throws. He's never going to be the guy that beats you. He's not going to beat teams by himself either, but he's not going to beat you. And with a defense this good, running game this good, that's where I think you need to be.
Yeah, don't forget that Taylor Heineke in that playoff game put a scare into the eventual Super Bowl champions. Mm-hmm. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that game, we all feared that was going to be the end. I mean, you're watching this as a Tampa Bay fan going, oh, there's no way we could lose to the Washington football team in the first round, and then, holy shit, here comes Taylor Heineke, and he's actually playing decent football.
It's the biggest scare they took in the playoffs, and I don't think it's all that debatable.
No, it's not. It's not, because every other game from there on out was a walk. So maybe there is something to the Taylor Heineke thing. I'm willing to trust Ron Rivera. I'm a big fan of Ron Rivera, always have been. And
as am I.
I think the future is very, very bright for the Washington football team. And I think that this is a team that, they've got money. They've got, draft picks. They haven't traded away the assets and things. And they don't have a whole lot of holes to fill. It's just a few. And they're going to be very competitive in that division with the Dallas Cowboys. I know everybody's all wild and crazy about the Dak Prescott thing, and everybody's excited. Yes, we understand, but it's still the Dallas Cowboys. It's not like much has changed. They're going to have to make some tough decisions. It's not like signing Dak Prescott was an immediate ticket to 13-3 and dominance over this division.
Yeah, by God, if you listen to some of the analysts about this, it is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to me, I care way more about Dan Quinn than I do about Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not 100% true. I know what Dak is. I'm curious of what Dan Quinn can make that defense because they have pieces. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if you told me right now everything goes exactly the way it is right now, they add nominal pieces in the draft and nobody adds a real game changer in free agency, of which Washington's the only team that has the money to do that, I would still say Washington's probably the favorite to win this division going into next year. I mean, you're telling me right now I get this defense, that's the greatest, it's the best unit in this division, and it's not close. Mm-hmm. As it sits right now, if they add nothing else. And I think that could be enough to win this division.
And if they're not the favorite to me, they'll be damn close. The odds in Vegas, the futures bets, I imagine, or the futures odds, I imagine would be really, really close on a division championship between Dallas and the Washington football team. Stay the course, keep going. Eventually, you'll become a big boy football team and have a nickname again. And it'll all be fine. You could have, back-to-back division championships. And even though you kind of got one on the cheap this year, that's still a statement to behold.
There's a guy that I know this team likes. This would probably be one of their 2 threes, because I think they have 2 third-round picks, 74 and 83. They have San Francisco's third-rounder from the Trent Williams deal last year. Chaz Surratt. He's a guy we know well working for the North Carolina Tar Heels radio network.
Right.
He's a really good linebacker, and he could be really, really good. And he fits into this scheme like a glove to me. And here's the thing with Kevin, or what was his name? Kevin Pierre-Louis. Is that his name?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to. The knock on Chaz Surratt, he has not played linebacker for an extended period of time. Well, he started as a quarterback, so his eyes are good. His feet don't always trust his eyes, and I think that could be covered in this defense, and it could make him one of the most formidable picks in this draft. It's my favorite place for Chaz Surratt to go. That is Sage's brother, by the way, if you were curious.
Plays on the inside or the outside?
Inside.
Inside.
He's an inside guy in the NFL to me.
I agree.
And I think he fits in this defense. It would be one of my favorite places for him. This is also one of my favorite landing spots for Rashad Bateman. If they don't believe in Antonio Gandy Golden as much as I do, or even if they do, and they think one of these guys can play in the slot, or they don't believe in Steven Sims, whatever the case may be that would ultimately end up winding up with Rashad Bateman, I would really like him with their second-round pick at 51.
Lots of hope for the Washington football team. I still think they should add a quarterback. I don't think trusting Taylor Heineke is the best scenario.
I don't disagree, but I could see, and that's another part of this. I could see them falling in love with either Kyle Trask or Kellen Mond. And looking at it going, you know what? We know what Heineke is. Heineke's a consistent guy. Maybe we hit lightning in a bottle with Trask. We beef up the receiving core. Kyle's stupidly accurate. A big-bodied guy. Maybe he's the guy again, Rex Grossman. I'm going to keep making that comp until the end of time. Maybe you fall in love with that. Maybe you fall in love with Kellen Mond and how multiple he can be with Antonio Gibson and his ability to run. I don't know where their head's at with quarterbacks yet.
Well, last time
but I wouldn't hate anything I just said. Bring him in with Heineke and go the best man wins.
Well, to get him, they would have to draft him with the 20 pick.
Kyle Trask?
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't.
Really?
Not necessarily.
You think they could wait till 52?
Not at 51. Or is it 52?
52.
Maybe it is.
That's what the screen says.
Screen says 52.
Says
it's actually 51. I fucked that up.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Could they get him at 51? Maybe. What would be more likely is that you have to package, that extra pick and get up to get him, which I don't love doing that. He could fall right in your lap at 51. Kellen Mond could very easily do the same thing. Just depends how you feel. Literally, the 1 and 2 in this class at quarterback is pretty universal. I think 90% of us feel like Trevor Lawrence is 1, Zach Wilson's 2. If not, you flip that. There's probably 10% that flip that. But beyond that, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, I know there's at least one team that thinks Kellen Mond's the third best quarterback in this class.
Yeah.
So if Washington falls in line with that, that could be the solution too.
All right, like and subscribe here on the Sportsocracy YouTube channel. Our off-season previews will continue. The Offseason Files here in the playlist. Follow along. We'll hit them all by the end of this week. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. Coming up this afternoon on the ESPN Asheville Show, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400, of course, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We will have more of the coverage of other things going on around the sports world. Everything, of course, dominated by the NFL. I heard an amazing stat this morning about the NBA All-Star Game and the dive that it has taken in the ratings. It just goes to show you football is the thing that stirs the drink around. And we've got more tickets punched into the NCAA tournament, the ACC tournament, and others kicking off today. So we'll talk some college basketball as well as Gonzaga getting a little scare last night from BYU in the West Coast Conference tournament. Again, tune in with us this afternoon on ESPN Asheville. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in the Sportsocracy in the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. We'll see you this afternoon.